What's happening, people? Thought a wee bit of free time tonight. It's not going to be left cabbage. Right cabbage is coming out because I just don't like them. Don't like the look of them. Think they're they smell a little bit. Don't want them around my kids. So right cabbage is coming out tonight. How many lines do you think Veradkar is going to be sniffing up his beak tonight? Honestly, right? I want to tell me in the chat, right? Tell me in the chat. Will he go on the Devil's Dandruff tonight? I would if I was him. This fella's been out outside polling stations saying, "Vote yes, vote yes." As you see, right cabbage is coming out tonight. Far right cabbage, far left cabbage was 2 days ago. Far right cabbage is here tonight, and I have to say something. I don't like them. I don't like them. Don't want them living near me. Don't have anything against them. I just don't want them living anywhere near me. Don't ask me what it is. I'm going to vote Donald Trump if I could. So, yeah. We've got Mo in the house. We have, I forgot my name. So did I. I forget my name every day. How you doing? I'm doing well, pal. I hope you're keeping well. We'll have the Grand Clown. Have to make this guy a mod for the Veradkar Clown Show, 100%. Just went yesterday, do my voting to vote no, 100%. You're one of the warriors that were out there. Yes, 100%, my man. The Grand Clown. Sniffing out a rent boy, more like it. Well, as I said, even left cabbage has to come out and say this, that we're going to go deep, but we're not going to go deep as Veradkar at 4 o'clock in the morning in a car park. We cannot go that deep. That's a level of deepness that I don't think anybody could go to. That is deep. Get those two. Right, okay. Know now that they are never to be trusted, 100%. I'm just surprised that there was like 36% of the population voted yes. Somebody pointed that out, and I was like, actually, we actually have to live around these people. 100%. He was amusing though. Listen, right cabbage is out tonight. This is just a random live. Nothing's, you know, I'm not out here. I'm not out here like Niall McConnell with putting phones in people's faces and shit. I'm just doing a random live. Like, what's the, you know, I was going to go down to Dublin today, and I thought to myself, nah, fuck it. I'll leave it for tonight. But there's a lot. Like, I'm looking at the grip media. I'm looking at Mary Lou McDonald coming out and basically bending over and doing a flip-flop, and she went, well, you know, we'll have to respect democracy. Hold on, bitch. That was you a month ago saying if you don't get a yes vote, you're going to go for another referendum. I mean, this is the type of Sinn Féin, I'm a big Shinner. Oh, right, good for you. I'm a Green. Oh, fuck, good for you. All these people can't be trusted. None of them. Not one of them. These people are deplorable. These people are the dregs of society. These people, you know, you've got Veradkar. you know, fair enough, right? I'm not. He's not stupid, right? He's definitely not stupid, but he's woke, and this is where it's coming from. It's directly coming from the woke mind virus. He thought it was a good thing in the middle of an immigration crisis, a housing crisis, an inflation crisis. Businesses are closing down. Well, I know what to do. I think we should have a referendum on durable relationships because we want to recognize other relationships because this is the right thing to do. Putting wokeness above the fucking economy. This is what we're doing. We need businessmen, hard-lined businessmen, Trumps that are going to come in and say, do you know what? Fuck this woke business. I'm going to come out here. Klaus Schwab, fuck you, right? And your climate change cartel. Fuck you, Klaus Schwab. How about this? Give me a couple of bill, and then I'll sit down and have a conversation. But not Veradkar. Veradkar sees Klaus Schwab and he creams. And he thinks to himself, I'll do anything for you, master. I'll do anything for you. Yes, here, have all my lands, have my waters. Take my waters and steal all my fish and we'll take in the people from the asylums. You know, this is what far right cabbage thinks. Of course, 100%. Do you know what I mean? Fuck wokeness. A hard businessman that doesn't give a single fuck what anybody thinks of him. He doesn't care about what the left. Listen, we thought we had it bad back in the day when we had politicians coming out here, and we thought they were bad bastards going, well, they were making hard decisions, like, putting the economy first. And we thought, well, fuck, there's social issues and they need to come first. And then they started putting social issues first. And we elect people like Veradkar, and he starts putting emotional issues first. And then we're thinking to ourselves, hold on, the fucking economy's crumbling here. We need that hard cunt back that nobody liked with the stone face that didn't give a fuck what anybody thought of him. That's the people that we need in power. North and South, England and Ireland, America, the West needs... Listen, believe this or not, the fucking world is waiting for Trump to be in power. The whole world needs Trump in power because that's going to influence other countries. Don't come to me and start talking about Israel and Palestine. I couldn't give a fuck. I've spoke about that for long enough. Stop coming to me and talking about Palestine and Israel. I couldn't care, right? I couldn't care. I don't give a fuck. How about that? Yes, I care. I don't want children dying, but don't come to me and talk to me about Israel and Palestine. I'm from Ireland. What the fuck has that got to do with me? Honestly, I support it. I hope to get better. I want the Israelis to stop murdering people, and I want Hamas to fucking stop murdering people. There you go. I said it. Now, end of discussions. But if you say, you want Trump to get into power, you must support Israel. I couldn't give a fuck about Israel. When's Israel ever give a fuck about me? Israel's never cared about me. Neither is the Palestinians. I feel sorry. Trump needs to come back because the whole world is fucked without him. And people say, well, stop speaking about Trump. It's got nothing. It's got everything to do with us. Everything to do with us. I'm going to let you into a little story. I had family members that went to go over to America there during the end of Trump's term, and he couldn't stay. And I says, rightly fucking so. You can't stay. You can't. Rightly so. You can't fucking stay because you haven't worked here long enough. He says, but it's not fair. I goes, fuck you. Fucking work harder. Prove that you're an American citizen. And he went, you're right. I goes, you're not going to get something for nothing here, kiddo. And that was under Trump. See, once Biden got in, they fucking sent a passport to his house, dual citizen. You're welcome. I went, fuck that there. Even though he's a good lad and all, I think, fuck that there. Like, so we need Trump in because Trump's going to lead the way. And I know people hate Trump. People are going to say, he's a shill. It's all a game show. It is all a game show, and he is a part of the fucking game show. But to keep the fucking game show alive and to the point where they're not actively trying to kill people right now in the West, there's people being fucking murdered left, right, and center that are whistleblowing. You have Julian Assange locked up. You have Edward Snowden in Russia, and what's the common denominator? The whistleblowing, what the government was talking about. Do you think that the Irish government isn't complicit? The Irish government gave Hillary Clinton €100 million. €100 million euro. Do I have to point out what the Hillary Clinton Foundation gets up to? Do I really need to fucking tell you this? Maybe you've been living under a box. Haiti people, Tusla, just saying. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just saying. So it's fucking important that we get people in here that are going to start putting the countries first. Unfortunately, America is ran by somebody who's literally in diapers. That's Jim Carrey, folks. I've got something to tell you. That's Biden is Jim Carrey. I seen it. That wasn't even him. That was a mask. That was Jim Carrey. Just look at the way he falls up the stairs. That's Jim. That's not even Biden. I've got something that's not Biden. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you the truth. That ain't Biden. I need to take a break here because people need to know this shit. This is how the world's ran. That isn't real. That isn't a real person. Trump is a real person. The deep state have got in. Man, they're going to take him out. I'm going to call it right now. They're going to take him out. So it's weak leadership from the top countries that creates weak leadership in the smaller countries like Ireland. We need a solid leader in America that's going to go, this is how shit's done. Fuck your wokeness. I'm a businessman. Let's make lots and lots of money and pay no fucking tax. And everybody benefits from it. That's what we want. No tax and to make lots of money. And everybody gets a mansion. That would be great, wouldn't it? Right now, it's just like, here, take your slop and be fucking happy that you're getting it. Because that's pretty expensive fucking slop. That's what we're dealing with. And Veradkars are the spineless rats. He's a rat. Look at him. He's a rat. He's an educated rat. And I wish him no harm, by the way, because he just does not understand what the crack is. Veradkar, average bottle of wine is about €250. He's not drinking Buckfast like us. He's not drinking vodka and Red Bull. He's drinking champagne. He's sniffing the devil dandruff off. I'll have to be careful with my words here. You know what I'm saying? And meanwhile, you've got a president in the United States that isn't even real. He's wearing a mask. When's the last time you've seen Jim Carrey? Tell me the last time you have seen Jim Carrey in public. He started to act weird when Biden got into office. I've looked at the man's physique and his head movements and the way he falls upstairs in the Truman Show. That's Jim Carrey. That isn't... Biden's not here. Let me show you. I have to show you this picture. That's a fucking mask he's got on his head, man. That's a mask. It's not real. That's why they needed rid of Trump. And that's all a distraction. Don't get me started on McDonald's. They fucking found human DNA in McDonald's. I was like, this is what's happening, folks. Let me just turn up the music here. I'm going to get myself a drink. It's crazy, folks. Do you actually think anybody... do you think the normal person woke up yesterday and went, you know what? Do you know what we really need to change in Ireland? Those pesky women. They haven't worked in a long time, haven't they? They keep looking after those kids and raising, the people of the future. Fuck those people. We need to get those people out to work. Nobody woke up and went, you know what? I'm not married to my better half, but I want to be considered married to my better half. Let's go out and vote yesterday. Everybody went, what in the fuck? The 36% that voted, that they weren't even real votes. That was fraud. I'm calling it now. That was fraud, because they seen it. They went, hold on, this is like a landslide 99%. What are we going to do here? We can't look that stupid, right? Listen, just pay RTE, do something, get the NGOs in. Leo, we need to get the NGOs in. They all came in, they had a meeting that says, look, we've got this little thing we bought from China. It's called the Trojan horse. And what it does is it'll just like go infiltrate the system, and it's going to like replicate like certain votes. We're going to like take names from dead people and they died like 20 years ago, and they're going to vote. And you're still going to lose, because we can't fabricate it that much, but we're going to fabricate it to a point where you're not going to look like an absolute dick jockey, even though that you are one. But 36%. Who really believes 36? I would say it's more like 5% of the people voted yes. And they're the whack jobs. And the 5% are the Antifa crowd that I seen, the 200 counter protesters in Dublin that day. That's who voted. That's who actually voted. The rest of it's fraud, folks. The rest of it's fraud. The majority of Ireland, how many people voted? 86,000 people or some mad shit? No, 85,000 people voted no. There you go. I'm going to tell you the truth. That was damage limitation for them. That's the truth. Russian food is cheap. Let's call a spade here, folks. Russia's basking in glory right now. Their food's cheap, their oil's cheap, and we're told that we have to spend extra just to hurt them while he's laughing at us. I mean, am I stupid here? I'm definitely not pro-Russian. Definitely not. Ukraine's should be 100% a sovereign country. Regardless if they house the most Nazis in the world and they're basically imprisoning Christians, regardless, if they want to run their place like that, that's up to themselves. They've got every right to be sovereign. But I'm looking at that and I'm going, hold on here. I'm paying this much to put into my car to hurt Putin, who's a trillionaire. Oh, right. Good logic there, Leo. Good logic there, Michelle. Good logic there, Richie Sunak. Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, you're doing that to hurt Putin. No, you're not. No, you're not. Let's call a spade here. Now, any of these people came in. One fella left me a comment and he says, well, if you like Russia that much, why don't you go to it? Fuck you. As I say, this is far right cabbage, so fuck you. Putin. Fuck Ukraine. I couldn't give a fuck. Zelensky's out there licking hole just for $1 billion. Do you mean who does that? Everybody loved him at the start. Zelensky's so handsome, he's so sweet, and he's out there in the front lines while this cunt's sitting eating fucking caviar. I mean, is it just me? Am I stupid? Am I remedial or something? Should I be put into a nut house? Should I be, should I be a protected characteristic? Because we have to suffer for Ukraine to win, while Russians at the minute are paying cheap for their food, they pay cheap for their fuel. And actually, there's a mass migration of anybody that's got a connection to Russia. Like, you're bound to see the YouTube channels. They're everywhere. They're popping up in my algorithms left, right, and center, where you've got these people moving to Russia from America. There's one guy from Canada, I'll follow him. Something to do with like fucking tractors or something he done. And I'm thinking to myself, what's going on here? We have Putin giving a 2-hour speech starting from the 8th century about why he's doing what he's doing, even though he shouldn't be doing it. And then we have another president, Biden, who can't speak for 8 seconds. I mean, and then we've got Leo Veradkar, we're living in a homeless crisis, inflation's high, you can't get a house, businesses are closing down, drugs, fentanyl just came into Ireland, and he's trying to change the constitution to redefine what a mother is. This motherfucker needs out ASAP. If he isn't voted out, you know it's corruption. That the referendum today was a telltale sign of what people think of Leo. If Leo watches this, you are literally the epitome of woke. You're no good for society. Go off, do something else. Become an elite. Nobody wants you. Quit the job right now. Give it to somebody that's able to do the job. Fly off the Klaus Schwab and have a party with him. Become a lobbyist or something. Do something. Stop running Ireland. You're destroying the country. And this is a warning to any politicians. Michelle O'Neill, if you start doing the same as what Leo Varadkar is doing, you will be outed and you will be treated the same way. It will not be the Leo Varadkar clown show. It will be the Michelle O'Neill clown show. And this is what you need to understand. And it doesn't matter if you're a unionist, righty, a lefty. You'll be destroyed accordingly. This is... What? Like, how can you look at what's going on in the world right now and think, well, yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's put gender issues above the economy. Like, I think even Trump said that. He was like, the top of one of their list was putting gender issues above the economy. Let's have a meeting about gender issues. Who gives a fuck? Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares. I don't give a fuck. I've just today had a bit of free time. I've just trolled people on X all day, and I've officially come out. I am a woman, but I'm also a lesbian. So I identify as a woman, but I'm a lesbian. So I'm a woman with a penis, but I'm a lesbian. And these motherfuckers thought that I was being serious. I was getting love from the LGBTQ community and at the same time getting hate from people that thought that I was being serious. The world is dumb. You can't even joke anymore because people think the joke is real. That's what wokeness is. They've made the jokes real. Whenever we used to do satire and parody back in 2005, Ali G, they went, you know what? See that Ali G, see that Borat. Fucking, that's what we need. Make these real people. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, let's make Ali G real. Ali G isn't real. Life isn't Disney. This is far right cabbage right now. This is, you know. Jeez. 100%. Luton. Listen, I need to take a break for that one. Let me turn up the music here for 2 seconds. That's exactly what he is. He is a Poundland Trudeau. He's a Poundland Justin Trudeau. I mean, that comment should win comment of the year. He's not even... Leo, if you're watching this, you're not even like on par with Justin Trudeau. You are a Poundland version of him. At least he's open about being a communist and a dictator. At least he's out here saying, do you know what? I hate all these motherfuckers, so I'm going to create a MAID program to allow all your kids to go in just to get rid of them. You don't even have the balls to do that. You have to sneakily do it like a rat, lower than a snake's belly, creeping in. Oh yeah, we're just going to have assisted dying. And then, you know, just worm your way in and then just legislate something where, you know, oh yeah, we'll just slip this in here. So, you know, we'll slip it in for 5-year-olds or something. They won't even know, you know. At least Justin has balls. I think his dad was Fidel Castro, wasn't he? At least he has balls to come out and say, "This is who I am. Fuck you, Jordan Peterson. Do you know what? I couldn't care if you're right, because this is who I am. I'm a dictator. I'm gonna lock up all the truck drivers, and there's gonna be fuck all that you can do about it. And anybody speaks up about me, well, let's just say, let's hope a bit of rice doesn't fall into your drink. And we're going to just import everybody. And if you don't like it, fuck you." At least he has the balls to come out and sort of act that way. Do you know what I mean? And he is a narcissistic sociopath, but no, we're left with Leo Veradkar. I think that's what it is, isn't it? It's even that pathetic. We don't even want to fight against it. It's like, are you serious, man? We get you to fight against. At least make me want to fight you, because it's like, I don't even want to, because it's like, what are you doing? You know, do something. Like, you're poking him with a stick. Do something, Leo. Mary Lou, fuck it, Mary Lou, like, fuck, she is a hard-faced fucker, isn't she? Like, there's no getting away. Like, she's been around the block, Mary Lou has, like. Here, not as much as Arlene Foster. She was caught in the taxi. Mary Lou denied, saying another referendum will happen if they... Yeah, there you go. Of course she's going to deny it. I would have more respect for Mary Lou if she came out and she said, "Do you know what? Fuck Ireland. We are going to go for another referendum. There's fuck all you can." At least that would rile us up for a fight. But these people are snakes. They're just snakes. They're snakes, man. They don't have integrity or morals. It's a really bad day when Jamie Bryson has a point. If you know who he is, like, he's on X and he gets shredded every single day. But he even came out and he was like, you know, like, he's a unionist. He hates anything to do with Ireland. He's advocating against the Irish language. If you come up with a GAA top, he's going to kneecap you. Do you know what I mean? That's the type that Jamie is. And it's like, he was like, "I actually think this is fucking great, what the Irish done today, because they fucking stood up to them." And, you know, the level of weakness in the political system in the Republic of Ireland, all across, is immense, because they're snakes. They are absolute, dirty, disgusting, lower than a snake, a worm. They're worms. And they are like a worm, because you cut them in half and they grow into another one. And that's what it feels like with the political system. It's you cut one in half, you get rid of one, and another one just pops up somewhere else. If it wasn't for Warp Speed, we'd still be in, LD, eating bugs while waiting for the V. Not 100%. 100%, James. 100%. If it was up to them, right, we would all be vegan, still sitting in our house, right? Everybody genderless or identifies under the alphabet people. That's the way they want us. Compliant, and most importantly, a customer to the pharmaceutical company. Because think about it, how the pharmaceutical company, you know, after the opioid crisis in America, they're like, "Hold on, how are we going to make our money here?" Well, I've got a really, really good plan. I know what we can do. Well, we can pump out propaganda that everybody's a bit fucked up, but that won't work. How about we put it in the water supply? We'll turn the frogs, you know what? So the mess with the chemicals of the human beings, and then they have a whole marketing scheme. You know, BBC, RTE. It's okay to just be yourself, you know, and all this shit. And the corrupt the teachers, and then the teachers start pumping off the propaganda. It's like a 15-year thing, and then all of a sudden they're just like, people are just chopping off their wieners. There's mastectomies. There's fucking, there's people just taking it because it's trendy, and they've got these people for life on steroids, TRT treatment, estrogen, wiener treatment. You're getting the lad chopped off you. You're getting everything, just a mutilation. And then they're starting them young, getting them young at like 7 and all this California shit, San Francisco shit. And then these people are just like consistent customers of the pharmaceutical companies. And you're like, that's what it is. It's always money based. Follow the money. And that's where you find it. And that's what it is. I'm not denying that there's some people, that are born like that, but a rise of it, like 40,000% rise in the world. Come on, man. That's an agenda. And listen, I have to just let me appreciate the agenda here, because to do that takes brains, because you have to pump out a level of propaganda every day, even though you're getting exposed. Ben Shapiro, Matt Wallace, Jordan Peterson don't give a fuck. Fuck them. Pump out more. Let's buy up Harvard University. Get Jeffrey Epstein in there. Do you know what I mean? We'll compromise a couple of these fuckers, and then to do that. And that's the agenda, man. It's just an agenda after an agenda. It's like a machine, like a proper leftist machine. You have to respect that, because that's you can't respect Leo Varadkar. We can't respect that. He's not a part of the machine. He's a weak beta male, lower than a snake's belly. He's not even a part of that. That's what he wants to be a part of. But the real leftists, that's what the machine is. Do you know what I mean? You can really appreciate the level that they go to. Now, obviously the end result I don't appreciate, because that's basically destroying human civilization, because most of them are extinctionists. And you think to yourself, could you really spend, like, you would have to be a reptilian. Like, that's why I thought for a long time, I was listening to David Icke, and I thought to myself, well, they're not reptilians. They probably have a reptilian type brain like we all do, but they're not reptilians. But I can't do this for a long period of time, but these fuckers are out here promoting a message 16 hours of a day, and it looks like, they're definitely on the adrenochrome. They're drinking adrenochrome for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's the level they're at. They're not drinking Red Bull. They're drinking adrenochrome. Do you know what I mean? That's the type of shit they're into. And then you think to yourself, like, I'm going full. This is full far right cabbage tonight. This is far right cabbage. Far left cabbage would be killing him, like properly doing his, he would do himself in listening to this here. I have to respect the agenda and the work that goes into the agenda. Like, we all know what Klaus Schwab is. We all know that Leo Varadkar is just basically like his toenail. That's what Leo Varadkar amounts to. But to actually be him, to go, well, I'm going to destroy the world, and I'm going to do it this way, and I'm not going to give a fuck. I mean, that takes a work, man. That takes work. Ireland says no to 2024 and yes to 1937. That's how out of touch the political system is with the Irish people. 100%. 100%. That's what it is. It never went away. It never went away. It literally never went away. And I get people coming up to me, because everybody knows that I'm pro-Palestine, to the sense that, like, I've been advocating for the Palestinians to be free for the past 7 years before the man in the box told people to be angry about this. Like, there's people in the streets screaming about Palestine, and I'm like, hold on, why are you angry? Well, because of Israel, the big bad Israelites. And I was like, hold on here. But it's not just about Israel. You do realize that America funds Israel, and you do realize that there's links in with the Americans actually funding Hamas too. Oh no, that's a conspiracy theory. Like, hold on, how long have you actually known Palestine exists? Well, we've seen the man on TV speak about it last year, and we thought it was disgusting. So you didn't know Palestine existed 7 years ago? Nope. Okay, then why are you on the streets from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Do you know what that means? Yeah, it's just a really good saying because the Palestinians need to be free, but it really means the destruction of Israel. Oh, no, it doesn't. Well, it does. And you're calling me a Nazi, but actually your politics actually side with Hitler. If you think about it, because you want to get rid of Israel, and that's what Hitler tried to do. So I'm sorry to tell you, don't know what you're talking about. And then they look at you and their brain scrambles and then they walk off. But the Palestinians do need to be free from Israel and Hamas. You do know why Hamas was there, because in 2005 they were elected, and they promised democracy, like to be the second greatest democracy apart from Israel. They wanted to, and then a year later, they sort of abolished democracy. So you've got all these Palestinians in the middle that are just getting massacred. Do you know what I mean? So Hamas doesn't really care about, like, why did Hamas take hostages? When you attack somebody and then you take hostages, you normally get a reaction from that. But Israel have went a wee bit overboard now, and they've killed like 40,000 people. Do you get what I'm saying? And you tell this to these fucking idiots, these absolute fucking idiots, and they go to you. They look at you and say, well, it's not as simple as it's not as simple as that. Because there was wars going on just after World War II. There was Islamic territories breached. And who really started that? The fucking pesky Brits. Again. Do you know what I mean? So you think to yourself, well, they needed somewhere to go. They have claimed they've got a right to that land to a certain degree, but that's like saying pagans own Ireland because they once lived here 2,000 years ago. Okay. Take my house, pagan, if you want. I don't give a fuck. But then it's the people who don't really understand it, and they're for one side or the other. We need to have a conversation. There's a certain... The Zionists own everything. You need to acknowledge that. But you also need to acknowledge Palestinians are being killed. And you need to acknowledge that the people that are screaming from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, want to abolish Israel. And you need to acknowledge that if Hitler came back from the dead, he would be in those protests with those people. So don't call me a Nazi. Do you know what I mean? Don't call me a Nazi, because I ain't one. If this is 1930s, I'm going, lads, don't listen to that cunt standing up on the podium with the weird mustache. Walk away from him. Don't go near him. Don't call me that, because I'm not one. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just little sayings. People like it. People like it. The little sayings from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? Well, it means the destruction of Israel. Well, you're not going to do that, okay? But we'll have to free the Palestinians because they're being butchered. They're actively being, they're in a tyrannical system under Hamas. People don't know that. But Israel also has the foot in the back of the neck. So Israel, fuck off. Right, okay. The Americans could do that. Let's have a two-state solution. And Hamas, do you mind not going for world domination? You can be the military all you want. Just don't go for world domination. I know Allah would love that, but just don't go for world domination. You've got this land, that's your land. Just don't go for world domination, okay? Or we're sweet. That's what needs to happen. But no. You're a Nazi if you say that, apparently. We've got Susie Wong in the house. I think it's the same Susie that I know from the last channel. I hope you're well. I hope you're keeping well. It's good to see you in. So I really want to speak about this here. So from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Like, you have to understand, as a young fella, I got into, not even a young fella, like a good couple of years ago, I got into that and I understood it. And I know people that were in the Gaza Strip. I know people that were in the West Bank. I know people who visited there. I was going to go out there myself. I know people that do humanitarian work. They're right there right now. I can't say who they are, but they give me a lot of information. And what they're saying to me is, and they don't want, obviously they don't want things to get out, like they don't want people to know they think this way, but they're saying, like, you do understand that Hamas is really bad and Israel is really, really bad, and you've got these two evils fighting each other, and then you have innocent Jewish people and innocent Muslims in the middle being butchered. Right now there's babies like being just thrown into the ground. He says, then you have all these people in England, London, all around the world that are doing, like, that are protesting, which is good because it's good to get the word out what's really going on out here. He goes, but it's not just a Palestinian problem. He goes, you have these people who want world domination. They're not stopping it. They don't want just Palestine. Palestine is for the Palestinians, and I'm always going to back the Palestinians, but you've got a section of Palestine, Hamas, that are going to go for world domination. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, to say this, you're deemed. I have to say how I feel. Like, anybody that knows the situation, anybody that's been around the situation, or been around people who've, you know, I'm actually not on the whiskey. This is actually just Pepsi Max. I'm not on the whiskey at all, actually. That's good, Susie. Glad to see you in. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly who he is. That's brilliant. Keep the comments coming. I love it. Yes, hold on. Hold on. What live did I start up? What did I start up my other live? Oh no, it didn't. This is Ireland votes no. So yeah, I've got the Veradkar Clown Show is this Tuesday at 10 a.m. Veradkar's Clown Show. That's the one, the thumbnail that I used with him in his dress, and that's what I'm going to be doing. I've got like a load of thumbnails that I'm going to be using this year. And I have to say, like, a lot of people say to me, well, like, why are you starting that? Because think about it. There's no comedy around what's happening. It's all doom and gloom. Nobody wants to take the piss out of anybody anymore. Like, I'm left, like, you're getting far right cabbage tonight. Far left cabbage, left cabbage. I mean, I'm already getting into role on Twitter X where I've changed my gender to a woman, but I'm also a lesbian. So I identify as a woman, but I'm still attracted to women. Do you know what I mean? And people are like, what the fuck's going on here? So it's just taking the piss. That's all I want to do is take the piss. And the only way to fight against, in my opinion, all that tyrannical shit is just to laugh at it. Because if you make them out to be clowns that they are, the clowns that they are, they'll just fuck off. Everybody should do it. We've got an American in the house. True that. They voted in Hamas. Hamas built tunnels and arms and starved their people, etc., etc. America has been lying to their people for years. Starting wars. We are over it. Done. peace. 100%. Like that. That's what I'm trying to say. You can't. The radical left won't even acknowledge that Hamas have been building tunnels, that they have been preparing for this, that they are actively putting themselves in positions where, like, this is where I come from. This, I don't think that any rockets should be going anywhere near children, even if it is filled with Hamas people, because that's just the way I feel about it, just the moral code that I have. But when you're dealing with a psychotic person like Netanyahu, like, he is psychotic, folks, like, just to let you know, and Hamas knew that. Hamas knew what his reaction was going to be. Hamas, a good leader doesn't send his people in to die. A good leader weighs up his options, sees, can he win this strategically? And if that's not possible because of your resources or your abilities, then you don't do it, and you try to do it politically. Do you know what I mean? Where they didn't do that, they were like, "Fuck it, let's just." And the fact, how were they able to get across that border? Tell me how they got into the most secured border in the Middle East. How did that happen? Tell me how that happened. They just left the door open. Just, people know what that border's like. The Iron Dome, the fucking guards. I know one fellow that came back from there. He was doing a bit of humanitarian work, and he says he walked close to the border and they shot at his feet. And he says he looked up and there was about 40 of them looking at him. He was one person, and that was him walking close to the Israeli border. He says even he thinks there's something going on there. I think that was orchestrated. I think they wanted to clear out Palestine because of all the resources underneath. I think there's like gas or oil or some mad shit, like, I don't know, like lithium or some shit. Somebody did tell me that underneath Palestine, and that's they needed an excuse. I honestly believe that. I think in about 50 years' time it'll be written in the books that was the reason why it happened. Could be wrong though. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? I spoke to one of the biggest Irish nationalists today, right? And this woman couldn't be any more left-leaning throughout her whole life because of what her family endured. Her family were in the IRA. A lot of her family died fighting the British. And she turned around to me and said, "Ronan, I've seen your shit online. There's not a lot of people in the North talking about it. It popped up in my algorithms. I watched it and I couldn't agree anymore. But I can't say what you're saying. Because if I walk in to the hardcores in Stormont, even some unionists, if I say the shit that's actually going on, they're going to look at me as if I'm wacky, but it is going on. And she sees it. The little town, the little town where I come from, man, it's getting ruined. Like, this has got nothing to do with multiculturalism. Why is there 70%? Why is it the 70% of the people that come to Ireland rip up their passports? Why would you rip up a passport? Think about it. The only reason I would rip up a passport if I didn't, like, Susie will tell you, right? There's a girl here, Susie. I'm not gonna say who she is, right? And I've got a lot of respect for Susie and her friend. I'm not going to mention his name either. And her friend is done a bit of pedo hunting, right? Not a bit. He done a lot. He exposed a lot. He came onto my channel and he done a lot. And there's enough issues with our own people doing that. Now we're importing more people and we don't even know who they are. So why would you do that? You shouldn't be able to get into a country if you don't have a passport. But they are. And listen, if you want to know how they get in, I've made a video about that. I'll pin it in the description after this about how they actually do it, because Mary Lou McDonald came out and, no, it wasn't Mary Lou. McEntee came out and said, or was it McEntee? I forget who it was. And it was McEntee, and she broke down how they do it, but she lied about it without lying. And basically all they have to do is come here, rip up the passport. If they somewhat can prove that they come from a certain country, like a phone call, then they're going to let them in, and they're given Irish identification. So they come here, don't have a passport, don't have identification. They get a phone call from fucking, I don't know, Timbuktu. Right, he's from Timbuktu. Sweet, no, right, no bar, right, good, right. Give him Irish identification. Now he's got a different alias. Now he's under Jimmy Joe McGaggy. Irish identification. He doesn't have identification from his own country, but now he's got Irish identification, which then he can vote with. So there's some cunt in Timbuktu who's making 150 phone calls a day as their job, as a guarantor that that person's from said country. It's really flawed. It's really, really flawed. And 70% of the people that come to Ireland rip up their passports. Think about that. And that's allowed. And then you find out about Tusla. You find out about idle car services. Then the 14-year-old girl that's found in a bad place where dirty men reside. And she was trafficked into Ireland by a criminal gang. She was tracked within 3 minutes of being in Tusla's company. She was abducted. What's going on? That can only happen under open border policies. So you're telling me my kid can't play out in the street because you're letting in gangs of people that steal kids? And if I speak about that, I'm far right. Fuck you. Fuck you. Do you know what I mean? Fuck you. Anybody that's going to come here and say, you know, that's okay, fuck you. %. Who is this? Bipedal species. This guy walks on two legs. Brilliant. It's really good to know that there's somebody in the chat that's bipedal. There are reserves under Gaza, along with the Israelis want to build a canal. Are you the geezer that's giving me the information? Because this is information I'm getting from Gaza. From what's left of it. I'm getting this information that they're doing this. So there is reserves, and they need that canal. And the canal to outdo Panama. Yeah, that's the information that I was given. That's the real reason for all this. Then you have all these people, you know. The festival that was held for the Hamas attack was inexplicably moved a lot closer to that border area a week before. There were other really suspicious things about the festival too. 100%. Exactly. Who's that? Stumble. 100%. 100%. Like, you know, you said it. Don't shoot me. Shoot Stumbled. I didn't say it. If the CIA's watching, don't shoot me. It wasn't me. I didn't say it. Shoot him. If fucking the feds are watching here. We've got Saladin in the house, the man, the myth, the legend, the man. He does all the work. Mad respect. Head over and subscribe to 2 channels. Subscribe to Soulway and Saladin. 2 legends of the game. 100%. Well done to Ireland. You know, they stood up. They said no. They had to turn into Ian Paisley for a day and start, you know, screaming no, and they were right. They had to. You have to harness your inner Ian Paisley some days, like, and just, you know, start screaming no all the time. But they done it, and they said, "Fuck you, Veradkar. Fuck you, you woke piece of shit. Nobody likes you. Quit right now. Quit. Just quit, because nobody wants you in the job. No, nobody wants you there. Leave. Anybody with the same mind frame that's thinking about taking over, don't even attempt it. 100% clean slate. 100, like, women and kids only. Women and kids, and then you see videos 2 o'clock in the morning, and there's like 5 buses all filled with men between the ages of 19 and 45. Ripped, high testosterone. And then here, let's not talk about the other shipments that are coming in. The other shipments, I'm not talking about kids here. I'm talking about what's coming off the boats and being stockpiled at the minute. We need to have a conversation about that. Maybe that's not for here, though. I live in a city, and trying to explain to my brother and people I know in the small town I am from was hard. Not sure they all get it yet. 100%. And look, I go through similar issues with that, where people like, Christmas is a hard time for me. Christmas is a really, really hard time for me, because I'm sitting around and I've got all of us are successful in our own way. Well, I'm like the least successful because I couldn't give a fuck about money, but we're okay. Like we're not, you know, I'm not fucked or anything. Like, I got one brother and they're all, you know, doing their thing. Well, one's as a Yank now, lives in New York, and they're all looking at me. The Yank gets it. He gets it because he understands the unions, because he gets to work with the fucking mob he does half the time. But the other ones are looking at me when I'm saying, well, you do realize that we're sort of ran by this cult that is trying to sort of infiltrate everything and, you know, indoctrinate children, and all the wars that you see today are all orchestrated for like oil and gas. And they're like, well, it's not as simple as that, Ronan. You're like, it sort of is. It sort of is as simple as that. And actually, every single one of yous here have had the magic juice, and all of yous get sick like every 2 weeks. And I haven't had the magic juice, and I can't remember the last time I was sick. So there's that. Do you know what I mean? Exactly, Ronan. They tried to tell us about a scam 100% a few years ago, but kept our borders open 100%. Very, very relevant. Susie, I want to speak about that. Thank you for bringing that up, because that was a lot for us, Susie, because we seen that and allowed an influx of S offenders with no ID at all. So people up north, right? Susie would have seen, especially where Susie lives. People need to know this. I need to know how to start this off. We'll take a drink. So I should get the whiskey out for this one. Right. We've seen people come in to the north here. I'm not talking about the Republic. And we were told, you can't go to this place unless you have a face nappy. You can't go to this place unless you've got a magic juice. Right? And I went, well, there's literally people coming off buses here and planes from countries that don't have IDs. This is when I started to click on about the IDs. And none of them have got the magic juice. Don't worry about them. We're talking about you. And I'm thinking, what the fuck's going on here? And then I realized, when did I find out I knew it was a scam? The sniffles that went about, right? I knew it was a scam whenever I went to get a chicken burger for half price because they cut the tax. And I remember looking at my phone while I was eating in a restaurant around complete strangers. And I was looking at my phone and it was telling me to stay away from complete strangers. And I was like, hold on. So they cut the tax. So then there's an incentive for people to eat around complete strangers for half price. Okay, to boost the economy. But at the same time, they're telling us to stay away from complete strangers because that's going to kill us. And everybody's just going. I walked out and I went. It just changed. I just walked out and I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this anymore. And I actually think from that moment, from the first LD, I haven't spoke to a lot of family members because a lot of people were complicit. A lot of people who I thought were awake were not awake. I thought they were awake. I thought they were going to be warriors. And I thought I was the weak one that was going to cave. But I wasn't. And I was like looking at these people going, oh, yous are just sheep. Yous actually care what other people think of you. Like, I made it so difficult for people. Like, people said, right, put your face nappy on. And it'd be in my pocket. And they're like, no, I don't have to. And no, you have to put it on. It's our policy in the shop. So I'd hang it over one ear. Like, no, you need to put it over 2 ears. So I'd hang it over 2 ears. But it'll be sitting down. Like, you have to have it up over your mouth. So I'll put it up over my mouth. My nose would be sticking. He's like, you have to have it up over your nose. So I would make it difficult for them in the process. So then they'll just go fuck off. And that's what you have to do. Be completely intolerant. They're talking about disease X. Man, they think you're stupid. They think that you're stupid. Honestly. Trump plays the game, and he's trolling those who hate him. He's absolutely hilarious. If you get his humor, I do. He truly loves his country. Trump 2024. God bless America. I'm gonna cry. I'm joking, by the way. But no, God bless America, and Trump does love his country. That man's a billionaire. He's like near the same age as Joe Biden. He's 10 times more cognitive, though. He doesn't need to be doing that. They're stripping him off his money. They're every single week there's a new court case. The deep state is real. It's real. They're going after him every single day. There's another woman popping out of the fucking woodwork. He raped me 40 years ago. Who are you? He said that it was I had to hurry him off. Well, you have to give her 40 million, Trump. You have to give her 40 million because that's a derogatory comment to somebody who likes to have trees around her muff. Dude, that's the type of shit they're doing to him. He got sued 80 million. A woman came out and said that Trump raped her, right? It was found not to be true, right? It was all fabricated. Trump came out and says it's all fabricated. And she sued him for that because he came out and says it's all fabricated. And even though it turned out to not be true, Trump, the judge says you have to give her 80 million. For what? Because they're going after him. This has exposed the political system in America 100%. And they're going after him. And they've got no other options because he won that the other day, Super Tuesday. He won that. Joe Biden near died whenever he won that. It's the Joe Biden regime going after him. He near died because he thought that was a game, set, match. The only other option is to take him out. I'm looking at, if I'm a Democrat, they're psychopaths. They're psychotic. I'm thinking to myself, we can't let him get in power. We need Nikki Haley. She's state-owned, sort of like a, she pretends to be a Republican, but she's not. We need Nikki Haley in there because she's going to promote the wars for us. So how do we do it? He's won. We've even took him off ballots, and they're still going to vote for him. What are we going to do? Well, what would you do? If you're a psychopath and you had lots of money and endless resources, you would take him out. I think they're going to take him out. I think that man's life's at risk, honestly. If you understand, the mob didn't go away. The mob morphed into the unions and the leftists. People need to realize that. Why do you think California is so riddled full of drugs? Look at Dublin. Fentanyl has arrived in Dublin because of leftist politics. That's who the mob is. They didn't go away. They just went, let's get into politics. American, exactly. They left the doors open. It was a big plan, just like all of them. All of them are a big plan. Politicians are getting rich off the war, and they don't care whose children die. Exactly. That's the point. You're 100% correct. That is the point. They don't care who dies. They don't care. It's the machine needs fed, and it's unfortunately it's took a hold of the, like, republicanism in America is so old-fashioned that anything seems better than that. And because the Republicans didn't update themselves, the liberals were able to fucking excel over them. But then they excelled so far that they started chopping kids' wieners off. That's how crazy it got. Now the Republicans have went, fuck me. What do we do here? We're going to have to do something with, that's literally it in a nutshell. Like, I've got family in South Carolina. I've got family in Alabama. I've got family in New Jersey. I got family in just outside California. I've got family somewhere else too, and they're all different political spectrums. But the ones that I side with are the ones like there's one liberal one, and you're like, fuck off. You come to a family event, fuck you, stay where you are. Do you know what I mean? Do not come here. Your feelings will get hurt. But this is new claimants, Susie, coming in with no documents, claiming asylum and Ukraine war on falseness. Yeah, well, that's the thing too. You know, I feel bad for the Ukrainians. I speak to a few of them, and they truly are dead on. Like I can't say a bad word about them. To be honest with you, you can have the crack with them. Like I was in a bar last year, and it was funny as fuck because there was a Russian guy in the bar, and then there was a Ukrainian. you have a bit of crack with them, like, and they didn't really speak to each other. You know, even though they're obviously it wasn't Putin and Zelensky, like, and they're just different people. Like I even like the Russians too. They're just different. 100%. Straight up the shite pipe, mate. You put it straight up Leo shite pipe, 100%. And to the point where he was like, what do you do? I don't want to miss out any comments. I'm going to skip a few comments. The ones where people are speaking to each other. See that grit guy, right? I don't trust him. Sandy, I don't trust him. There's something about him. I don't know if it's because he looks like a fucking wax doll. Could be that. There's something about him I don't trust. I feel like I am a full-blown conspiracy theorist. Like you're getting far right cabbage today, right? But at heart, I'm a full-blown conspiracy theorist. And if I was to say who would be drinking a Dronabone, it would be him. Now, he's so anti-Islam. It's like, bro, you know, we get what you're saying. Let's have a little bit of religious freedom. Like, let's not turn mosques into toilets. Do you know what I mean? Let's not go full China here. What do you call him? Gert? Even the name Gert, isn't it? Geert? Is that how you say his name? Geert? I like him, but I don't like him. It's like there's something, mate, I wouldn't leave a fiver around you. Like you'd pocket it. Like I just have that feeling about him. But I get what you're saying. There's a shift. There's a change. There's a change in the attitude, and we do need to crack down on radicalism and terror cells in Europe 100%. I you know, and it will take. My biggest fear, because I didn't start out fucking like I don't even consider myself conservative. I consider myself more left wing, and it's like I didn't start out like that, but it got so wacky so fast that it was like you need to understand anything that veers away from the far left whack jobs is right wing, even if it's just a normal left opinion. Like, well, I'm for freedom of speech and freedom of expression, you know, but I don't want the mass harvesting of data and call it the Patriot Act, you know, where Americans can't even go against it, because if you go against it, they're going to call you not a patriot. That's all the Patriot Act is, the mass harvesting of data. You know, that would be considered a right-wing view. But it's just a normal left-wing view. If you think about it, it's just the far left whack jobs are so extreme that anything that veers away from their eyesight is considered right-wing. Do you know what I mean? We're just normal people. Most people can call themselves conservative today and right-wing when they're not. They're actually just normal left-wing. If you look at the left-wings in, say, between the 70s and the 90s, a lot of people resonated with the hippies. You know, they went so far left that they just started killing unborn babies. and burning down their own country and allowing fentanyl to take over, and to think that that's okay. They're anarchists. They're actually, it was leftist politics have been infiltrated by extinctionists and anarchists. That's what it is. America, no doubt they cause wars to go after all the natural resources. They get rich off wars. Lives don't matter. They would rather have less of us around. 100%. Americans are waking up to that with the food crisis, with what's being put into their food. Yes, the no won landslide victory. Great. Looks like he was on the Dandruff last night by the head, and I'm 100%. He was fucking just blitzed out of his tits. He would have got word last night, and he'd be like, do you know what? He would have rang up Mary Lou, and he was like, look, just bring a bag round, Mary. I know you fucking hate me, but just bring a bag round. Sinn Féin get the best fucking white, so just bring a bag round and just take me away from reality, because I can't take this anymore, Mary Lou. Come on. She went, listen, I'll be there in 10 minutes. Everything that happens from now on is to distract from the excess. Yeah, man. The Jameson is coming out soon. Toast to all the women, the mammies. Do you know what I'll actually do? Out of pure respect for you, Saladin. Give me a second, mate, right? Give me a wee second. Right, let's get it started. I'm not a big drinker, but I do like whiskey. So, listen, congratulations for the victory today, everybody, and many more victories. Beautiful. Ronan, I'd like to personally thank you, people like you and Grip Media, for working so hard to deliver the truth to us. Otherwise, it could have gone so wrong. I will never watch mainstream news again. So listen, Anna, I've seen you in the comments section. Thank you very much for being a supporter of mine. You seem very, very level-headed. I think whatever I done would have been a very small, minute amount of work put into this. It is literally people that I've came across, good people like Saladin, that have, and Solway, that have exposed so much to me and informed me that I like, without them, I wouldn't know anything. So, you know, I've been thrown into this with the whole Antifa thing, the the protests, that spurred me on. If Antifa didn't attack me, well, they didn't really attack me, but lightly so come after me, I don't think I would have been here. I needed that attack. I needed that. Oh shit, this is what's really going on here. These are state-owned fucking agents attacking citizens. So that's got me into it. But it was Saladin, Solway, Michael O'Keefe. There's so many more people that I could name that are doing so much better work, and I'm watching them, and I'm looking at them, and I'm thinking, right, well, I need to do it how I do it, but I also need to be bringing factual information like these lads. So, thank you very much. It's Saladin and Solway, the two people in the chat, and many more of them. If I missed you out, there's lots more people in the chat, but the two people that I would speak to on a regular basis, Saladin and Solway, these two people are OGs, real serious heavy hitters, that are in it for the right reason. So, but thank you very much, Anna. I appreciate that. So I'm going to miss out a load of comments here, and I'm going to just flick it right down to the bottom. 100%, mate. I normally drink it raw, but it takes me. I need, when I'm drinking it raw, I need to have ice, and I don't have any ice. Yeah, you know that's the thing too. An untold story about Ireland and alcohol. You know, I used to do have a lot of parties and drink and all on my other channel. Like I used to do fight companions for the UFC, boxing, and then you realize there is people that that are recovering alcoholics. They're alcoholics. They're and you have to be careful. The way I see it, James, isn't it better to wake up fresh as a daisy, being able to wake up no hangover, no cravings, and just get up and have a nice walk in the morning time and just enjoy the day and have more hours in the day. It seems like whenever, like I went through a stage whenever I was younger where it was just constant, like there was 6 years of my life I can't even remember. And if I could go back, there were crucial years. I lost 6 years of my life, like. Do you know what I mean? %. Susie, it's a win for yourselves today. A lot of the mammies stood up and done the work. They made their voice heard. They went, under no circumstances is this woke agenda going to attack us right now on our future children, because we have to protect the future mothers. They have the constitutional protection to be able to stay at home and raise the kids if they want to. And if they want to go out and be a bricklayer or be a fucking CEO of a €1 billion company, more power to them. There's nothing inhibiting them doing that. And they do need protection when it comes to, for women that want to look after kids. I support that too. That was me. Fuck me, if that's just it popping the cherry, man, what's going to be like when I'm a full-blown, you know what I mean? 100%. That's what I'm like, mate. That's what I'm like too. Mate, there's no way. Joe, like old Joe Rogan, like he said he done a podcast the other day, and he says that he was Italian, and it was like, mate, you're Joe Rogan. You look like the fucking plumber that came to my house the other day to fix the pipes. You're Joe Rogan, mate. Clues in the title, like. And let's not the exposure work that a lot of these people are doing online. It's the people that have to go out and vote. They're the real fucking gangsters. Like the people who went out and voted today and went, we're not having this. And Donegal was 80% no. 80% no on Donegal. So that's an indication that Niall McConnell gets a lot of support. A lot of these people saying, yeah, he doesn't get support. He doesn't represent us. He gets a lot of support. %, mate. Well, of course. Will you be joining us? Yeah, 100%. Any more, I'll be there. Is there anywhere where I can keep up to date with the dates of these things? Or I suppose I could just follow the Irish Freedom Party on Twitter. Right, so I want to speak about this Irish unification. So Irish unification is going to happen. You can feel it in unionism right now. Obviously, in the Republic, people don't see it, but there's the union. It's sort of, it's crumbled a little bit because of the Irish Sea border. The unionists came out and said no surrender, and then basically what happened was the only person who didn't surrender was Jamie Bryson, but the rest of them did surrender. But that's not surprising whenever you find out that most of these unionists are in cahoots with Hope Not Hate, the far left group that attacks people that are speaking the truth. So unionism has fallen in the north here, but at the same time there's the rise of the left wing, and it's not like normal left wing, it's radical left wing, and that's scary. So if there was a united Ireland in the morning, you're going to get radicalism. So you would get an uproar from obviously the unionists because they wouldn't want that, because they want the North to stay a part of Britain. Personally, myself, I would love to see Ireland leave Europe. That's where I come from this. It's not so much do I want Ireland to be unified. Of course I want that. My ancestors died for that. But I want to see Ireland leave Europe because I think Europe is a satanic entity that eats away at sovereign countries, and Ireland has so much to give, and it's being actively being destroyed right now, and they're giving pennies back to make the place look good like a scratch card, but underneath it's rotten to the core. So if there was a united Ireland in the morning, the place would go into full-blown civil war. There would have to be even if there was a referendum, it would have to be a slow drip over like the course of 5 years to have a full integration into Ireland. Into the Republic of Ireland, because you have to understand, even Irish nationalists in the north don't understand the Republic of Ireland. That's why I know my country very, very well, but that's why I'm going to the Republic a lot more. I'm trying to understand the political system a lot more because I want to see what they're made of. Up here, like we haven't had a government for years, and it can fall at any minute. You know, the unionists, they pulled out in protest because of what was going on in regards to Brexit. They voted for Brexit and then protested because of the ramifications of Brexit. So you have to understand the dinosaur unionists in the north. They're dinosaurs. They don't have a fucking clue what they're talking about. You've got little gimps like Jamie Bryson floating about. Do you know what I mean? He thinks that he's the bee's knees, but he's just a gimp. And unionism has crumbled. So unionism isn't the same as like when Paisley was there, where it was very, very strong. It's crumbled because there's a lot of people, a lot of children that come from unionist families that aren't unionists anymore. So it's flipped. They're saying it's 50-50. I would say there's a hell of a lot more nationalists than there is unionists, which is a good thing for me because I am an Irish nationalist. But say that word, Irish nationalist, in the Republic of Ireland, Like, I tell people up here, if you call yourself an Irish nationalist in the Republic of Ireland, they call you a far right bigot. Like, what? Sure, do not want a united Ireland? Like, yeah, but they don't consider the parties. There's good political parties. Like I told them about the Irish Freedom Party, the Irish Nationalist Party, but they don't understand that the Republic of Ireland has been infiltrated by the woke mind virus. And I think before there is a united Ireland, we need to eradicate that. There needs to be a cure, whether that be the Irish Freedom Party, the Irish Nationalist Party. I think the Irish Freedom Party have got the best chance. I know you've got that other party, Antu, whatever you call them. They're sort of anti certain things, but they are pro-immigration. Even though Patrick Murphy last night on that live says that they're not pro-immigration, but I do believe that they are sort of pro-immigration. They have to be, before there's any United Irelands, first off, the North needs to understand what the Republic's about. The Republic needs to understand what the North's about, and we need to kick out the woke mind virus, because once the North is unified with the Republic, hopefully it is at some stage. I think it'll happen within the next 20 years. If it's not sound politically and the woke mind virus has still got a grip, the place will just crumble. It'll go into full-blown civil war, multi-tribal civil war, where you're going to have unionists fighting against the nationalists, but at the same time you're going to have the Irish government fighting against the nationalists themselves, and it's going to be like a circle of hate. That's my biggest fear. I don't know how you solve that. Just don't elect people like Leo Varadkar. Just stop doing it. So we voted for Brexit, and then they negotiated a deal instead of say, fuck off around your. Yeah, well, that's Brexit was stupid. There was more, Brexit solved fuck all. Ireland needs to leave the EU. The EU's eating Ireland alive. Oh, that was a tasty one. They're Satanists, mates. The SNP are Satanists. I've had conversations with Alex Kearney. What they're doing to Scotland is like, look at Govan Hill. It's a glorified 666 town. Paul Fitzgerald, North and South will realise our similarities when we defeat the globalists. You're dead right about the EU. Yeah, 100%. And I also want to see a good relationship with Britain. And this is going to be very controversial, what I'm about to say here. But there is people living in the North here that consider themselves unionist. They consider themselves British. And that's going to be a hard pill to swallow whenever the referendum does come and there is a united Ireland. And those people, those people do need to be recognised. There needs to be sort of like a two-state solution within that itself, that if they want to stay British, they've got every right to, and they can still live in Ireland. And that's going to seem like, I know people are going to go, hold on, Ronan, you fucking what? You're supposed to be a fucking Teague here, mate. I know that, and I am. But to save an all-out civil war and civil unrest, you're going to have to allow that. A bit like Israel and Palestine. And those people do need to be recognised, because, for instance, there's a lot of people come onto here onto my channel. We're mates. One of my best friends is a unionist. His dad took a bullet in the back of the legs because he saved the Catholic from being butchered by the Shankill butchers. True story. And me and him became very, very good friends. And his dad had to live in a Catholic area because of this. he was a hardcore unionist, like, and he was never a loyalist, but he was a unionist. And I've got, they have so much. You have to understand the historical value to it too. These people are Irish. They don't even realize it. It's like England doesn't love yous. England actually fucking hates yous. Do you know what I mean? So there needs to be a recognition of unionism in Ireland to the point where they're not feeling left out and they have their say. That's going to be controversial. I don't give a fuck. That's just how I feel about it. That that's going to save a civil war. That it would, like. No free thinker. I didn't, but I will. But I will. 100%. That's the thing, but it is going to happen, and it was a good question from, I think it was Paul there. It's going to happen within the next 10, 20 years. It is 100% going to happen. People want to put it to the back of their mind, but before we get to that point, there has to be recognitions of like, it couldn't happen tomorrow because the whole place would crumble. That's a strange one. I'm happy to put up with unionists once they know what a woman is. Now, I don't know what you mean by that, Paul, because normally if you're a unionist, you'd be more right-leaning. But if I know what you're saying, because I've noticed a trend in the North, and we live in a very weird hybrid type society, don't we? Where it's the more the integrated schools, the Protestant schools have been infiltrated with the wokeism, and they would actually be considered the right-leaning schools, even though you don't really get that here. And that's weird, isn't it? I don't know if you mean that, because we're looking at schools for my son. He's 9 now, and he'll be going into big school in a couple of years. And I'm looking at the schools, and obviously he's got autism, so he has to go to a different type of a school. He's smart, like, he just needs to go to a different type of a school where he can learn a bit differently. There's one school in particular that's good, but it's more Protestant based. And one of the things that we noticed was the diversity, and one of the emphasis on diversity, where I'm looking at Catholic schools and there's none of that. I'm just saying. So it's really weird to see that the right-leaning schools, owned and funded by maybe more unionism, have been infiltrated by the woke mind virus. It's just strange to see. British and Irish are neighbours. Love thy neighbour. We should not live and change. We should not. In history, look, England. One of the first. You have to understand, England and Ireland have a great relationship. The Brits in Ireland, if you look at the British military and the Irish Defence Force, great relationship. That's never talked about. And that's, listen here, Paul's gonna wind up the unionists in the chat. There's gonna be unionists going, who the fuck says Paul fella coming in here saying that we don't know what a woman is? Of course we know what a woman is. Paul's winding them up here. I'm thinking of pulling out my kids from school. But then Peter Tusla will be knocking at my door because I want to protect my kids. I had a conversation with a fellow the other night, and we spoke about this, and I'm not going to say his name, but we had a conversation, and he's big in Kildare, like, and I said to him, I was like, mate, don't do anything stupid, because if you get your kid taken off you, it's going to be from Tusla. He's a good guy. He's a good mom. They're good people, fantastic parents. But it's like Tusla's the evil in the background. Well, if you get arrested, your kid has to go into care. And if you think of these satanic demons, they would love nothing more than to get a child from one of the enemy. Do you know what I mean? That's the way those fuckers work. So that's, it's the same up here too. Like the social services is up here too. Like it's just, listen, I overheard a conversation. Like I overheard a fucking conversation in McDonald's. I don't know if I told you this story. And I was a social worker. And she said she was talking about, I was just eating my burger, like, I was listening to her, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm a social worker, and like we're just packed out at the minute. We've got so many foreign children. This is in the north." And then she came over and she spoke to the person that I was sitting with, because the person I was sitting with has an adopted child, and they were talking. And I says, "Just if you mind me asking, I overheard you. I hope you don't mind me, but I overheard you were speaking quite loud, and you talked about having lots of foreign children. Is that, how long is that? Has that always been like that?" And she goes, "No, it's just been the past 3 years. We just had an influx of these foreign kids." And I goes, "Were you overrun prior?" She goes, "See, 10 years ago, it was just mainly Irish-based kids and British-based kids. Now it's now we really don't have any." I goes, "Well, so where did the Irish kids go?" "So we don't see them. We don't see them." I goes, "But they would still exist." She goes, "Yeah, we're just giving kids foreign children and we have to relocate them." I goes, "What happened to the Irish kids? Did they not need help? Or the British kids?" And she goes, "We don't know where they went to." So it's like they have taken a back step from children in the North, the Republic, Britain, Scotland, and Wales. They've taken a back step, and they're actively trying to relocate foreign children into British and Irish homes and Scottish and Welsh homes, while the numbers didn't dwindle down from the native children. They're just not looking after them. So there's neglect from the state of, in my opinion. I didn't say that to her, but it was like, well, is that not called neglect? Because you're neglecting the native children of that land. She goes, "What are she just went on to say certain things like, we're overrun, we're understaffed, and we're taking in people that don't have the experience, and it's just fucked up, man. Do you know what I mean?" He's a wanker, him Mo, isn't he? Like, he's a fucking wanker. That fella was the fella that let off Jimmy Savile. He was the judge or something, wasn't he, at the time? He let off Jimmy Savile, and he knew everything about him. Suspect, my friend. See that Starmer fella? Suspect. James, they fucking changed the rules in 2020 to make it harder to keep the kids out. 100%, man. Did you notice that? I had another conversation with a teacher, and I don't know if some of them watch my stuff, like my prior stuff when my channel came down. I know they're not watching this stuff because I haven't been promoting it on my Facebook. Like literally, who's ever here, none of you are like blood related. Well, I don't think any of you are blood related to me or know me locally, apart from one fella. Like I haven't promoted this in my local area, but I have a conversation with like, my son has been sick an awful lot. Like he keeps, every 3 weeks he's sick with something. My missus was going into hysterics. "Oh no, they're going to write a report." We went up. I goes, "What the?" I says, "Why are you?" I said to my missus, "What the fuck? What are you worried about? Like, I don't give a fuck what anybody says to me. Fuck them. They're not going to. If anybody comes to this house and tries to take my kid off me, they're going to have a serious war in their hand. Like, this isn't like a bailiff coming to your house. There's going to be limbs coming off here. Like, you're going to have to call the fucking army in. Like, and I know we're having a conversation, and went and had a meeting. Not about that. It was just a yearly review. And he brought it up, and he says, "Well, the attendance is a bit low, but it's okay. I'm going to bring it up into the board. I'm going to bring it up to the board to say why the attendance is so low." And I says, "Well, I don't care. Because the greatest of respect to you, sir. You're a fantastic headmaster. You're a fantastic teacher, and I respect you fully. But I don't care what the board has to say. If my son is in 10% of the time, and he's being looked after, That's got nothing to do with you or anybody else. Well, he says it doesn't work that way. And I says, well, it works that way in my life. It works that way in my life. You teach, like, I didn't say this to him, but I said in roundabout words, you teach the ABCs 1, 2, 3s. The state doesn't own my kid. And he knew what the crack was. And there's I would say about 500 fathers around here that a good 100 fathers that I know, serious cats, and 500 of them that would be ready to go. And I would be ready to go with them too if one of them tried to get their kids taken off them for nothing. And there would be mayhem, there would be carnage. And I mean carnage. It would be worse than an insurrection. And they fucking know it. So the kids that get, I'm not saying that in a big hard man way, because I get my cunt kicked in 1-to-1 by one of if the cops came to the door. But in numbers, they know. And if anybody came to my door to take my kid off me because of his attendance was low, let's move on to the next subject. And he was told in roundabout ways that, wind your neck in, mate, and you tell your little board of geeks what the crack is. I was adopted, and as a kid, I seen a lot. I consider myself lucky, forever grateful. As a kid, I seen through their BS. Did you have a good upbringing, or was it hard for you? If you mind me asking. Big up Limerick. Fuck. See the boys. I worked with a guy from Limerick for about 5 years, and I'm not joking you. Right, this is whenever I smoked weed. This guy had the best weed I've ever smoked in my life, and I don't even know where he got it from. He used to bring it in every single day, and he used to give me a smoke in the morning time, and whatever he had in that, looking back at it now, it must have been fentanyl or something. Like, it must have been crack. I was fucked all day. Like, I could back there. I could, and he said, "Oh yeah, it comes from Limerick," and he could smoke like fucking. He was. I miss those days. Like, he was a fucking. I'll not say his name, but he was a mad bastard. Anybody that I've ever met from Limerick's good crack. Like, the Irish people have spoken, as this Leo prick would call us far right. We done it with no budget. We sent a clear message to Sinn Féin and the government traitors. Roll on the election. 100%. 100%, Alice. You're 100% correct on that. I was just about to say there that the fight isn't over yet. We'll have to continue election. As somebody said, these referendums are like buses. There's one every minute. So always know they're going to attack you from all fronts. Be ready with your pen. The pen is mightier than the sword. Be ready for the referendums. Be ready for the elections, because the fight isn't over. That was one battle that was won, but the war is still happening right now. Cheers, buddy. I appreciate that. William Gilchrist. I don't think I've seen you tonight, William. I hope you're doing good, friend. You're always in. County Limerick. We do the... I need to get glasses. 100%. Listen, I have to say that was a brilliant panel, brilliant hosts, because they allow you to speak. There's so many panelists that you jump on and you want to have your say and you can't speak. That's not a dig at people, by the way, because I respect everybody. Any panel that go on, I do respect you. You've all got your own talents. But I was on Ladies' Channel last night. Fucking absolutely fantastic. You can have your say. They allowed me to speak and they give me good feedback. And then there was Patrick Murphy came on from Antu. That's how you say that party, isn't it? Antu. I think you said. Well, he claimed to be anyway, and he had a good, I was able to ask him questions, understand. Very, very rare. Why did they take down the lives after? Because I wanted to go back and clip it and put it on just little clips with their permission and put it onto my channel. They deleted the live. Maybe it's because it gets censored or, it'll get their channel taken down. So, fantastic channel. Okay, that makes sense. I was looking at the comments as you leave my channel sometimes, like, oh, that's a bit feminine, that comment. I get you. The ladies come in too. Everybody's welcome. So there you go. That's, I truly thought yes would be a verdict because of corrupt intervention. 100%. I'm overjoyed of today's result. Yes, and you should be. I think looking at it now, I was on a panel last night and they were saying it was going to be a yes vote, but that's because there's worry. People don't think there's going to be a yes vote because people voting. People think there was going to be a yes vote due to corruption. Now, my biggest fear is, did they know that this was going to be a no vote? This is just a conspiracy theory coming out in me, and they're setting us up like, oh, look, we're not corrupt. So whenever there's a general election, they'll fuck about with that and nobody's going to suspect them. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Like, they're capable of fucking about. Like, if they really wanted to just say to corrupt that to win, they could have. Just my fucked up head, the way it thinks. %. The pen is mightier than the sword. What you've done today was you dragged the fucking sword of light from your back, the Irish sword of light that's given to the bear that needs it. You've dragged it from your back and you slayed the fucking evil beasts. Except it was done in a different way. You took the pen out and you just had to mark a little line. And that's what it is. The collectiveness of the Irish people won. The collective unity of the Irish people won. And that's what it is. And it's your job now, and I say this, win humbly. Teach the 36% that voted yes why you voted no. This is why the majority of Ireland voted no, because they were lifting protections for women, and they were creating loopholes for refugees to bring in hundreds of their family members. Plus, they were trying to recognize polygamy as a real thing. Let's have 5 daddies and 2 mummies. Do you know what I mean? So teach the people, teach the 30. Let's get the 36% down to 15%. Let's take some of the 36% and say, this is the family, you're welcome, come here. This is what the truth is. This is where they're fucking you. This is what you need to vote for. That, here's the truth. That's what you need to do. So don't turn the 36% into 40%. Turn the 36%, and if there's another referendum, into 15%. This is where it's a very weak time. A lot of people that voted yes will be thinking, fuck, they're bitter and they're resentful. They're vulnerable. You can take some of them over to your side and say, well, this is why we voted, and they'll listen because they are so susceptible to listening right now. Just to let you know. Probably talking shite like. There's lady herself. Evening, Stray Cabbage. Hope you're good, pal. Good chatting last night. Listen, fantastic. Thank you very much. As I say, very, very good panel. Love the way you host the channel. I was able to speak. I was able to say my piece. She's never overtalked me once. And hopefully I didn't overtalk you. You were good with your guy, Patrick Murphy. I think that was a bit of a scoop for you. You just deleted it though. That was good. You should clip that and put it on your channel, having him, because hold his words against him. Because if a Patrick Murphy gets into power and he does the opposite of what he said he was going to do, then you have that in your channel, and you have that as a clip, and you can say, Patrick, here's where you fucked up, son. You said you were going to do all these things, and here you are fucking creating more immigration. Do you know what I mean? You got the scoop on that one, but fantastic channel. Loved it. Loved going on. So thank you very much for having me on. Great show. Didn't mean to wind everybody up, Paul. This is what it's about, mate. People, you have to wind each other up. Yeah, well, you still have them backed up, because that would be a good one to keep, though. Clip Patrick Murphy speaking at least, and then keep that on a Google Drive. Because if that cunt starts getting power and then he does everything, he does the opposite of what he's supposed to do, you can post that and say, look, there's the proof. There's the receipts, mate. You said you were going to do this, now you're doing the fucking other shit. You know what I mean? I'm 58, and this government is the worst of my lifetime. They fucked up our country. It's time for them to go. And to think about that, what you've just said there, Martin, to think about what you've just said there, right? Actually, I can use my pad for comments here, because I can't see. I need glasses. To think about what you said there, you lived, I don't know if you're from Dublin, but Veronica Guerin, the extreme violence in Dublin, the crime in Dublin, where people say that was the worst time to live in Dublin. I don't know if you lived through that time. My dad did. And then they brought in all those laws to make sure, to find out where your money was coming from. If you were a criminal, you were sort of like, you had this hanging over your head for your whole life. And that was considered one of the worst times politically, because there was so much corrupt politicians in Ireland. But actually, looking back at it now, the politicians back then had balls. Okay, was there people being shot in the street? Was there a drug problem? But there actually was there was good issues. There wasn't just a lot of growth, economic growth. Now that comes with healthy immigration. You have healthy immigration. You allow a certain amount of people in, but the politicians back then had balls. Now they don't. Now that they have no balls, they're ballless. They're fucking, Leo Veradkar, man. What the fuck? Like, is this a sketch? Am I living in, like, I want somebody to pinch me and go, Ronan, it was a dream, or Ronan, it's all ha prank. Oh fuck! I knew something was up, but it's real. Think about this. Leo Veradkar is a real person. He's like somebody out of South Park or an Ali G sketch. I'm waiting for him to pull off the mask and for Sacha Baron Cohen to be underneath and be like, got yous. Do you know what I mean? That's what it feels like. %, Saladin. Thought that myself, mate. I thought that they were going to rig that. But did they not rig it for a reason? Maybe they're going to rig something more. I know, I'm not saying this wasn't important. It was very, very important to protect the women, to make sure that they're constitutionally protected. But have they picked their battles? Well, if we do this here and we don't rig this, and then they think they're not going to rig, we're not going to rig future referendums or elections because they think we don't have those capabilities. We'll back them into a false sense of security with this. And then when it comes to elections, we'll elect somebody in that will just work for us. Do you know what I mean? With our corrupt election fraud or whatnot, because it does go on. If it can happen in America, it can definitely happen here, 100%. Worse here. Worse, 100%, it's worse here. The North here is one of the most politically corrupt places on earth. And, people don't realize it. have to agree with you, Ronan, that grift media, I like grip media. Ben Scallon, big up Ben. I don't know how he does it, by the way, because people were saying, "Oh, why not get into journalism, Ronan?" It's like, do you think I'm going to stand in the fucking Dáil or Stormont with a microphone? Well, how do you think today went? And then listening to the shit that they have to say, I would hit them with the microphone and say, "Mate, stop talking shit. You're a fucking root. You're, you fucking allow. You've been stealing money on the population for the past 40 years. You're a career politician." I'd end up slapping them with the microphone. That's why I couldn't do it. Honestly, I couldn't do it for that reason. I couldn't. Imagine me sitting in the Dáil, right? Or leaders' questions or whatever the fuck it is. Questions for the media. And Leo Varadkar turns his back on me after I ask a question. And then you have RTE, the Independent. I would, on my way down to rip his head off, I would be punching RTE and the Independent as I'm walking down and calling them all the fucking bad names of the day. There would have to be security up at the front. That's why I couldn't be a legitimate journalist. But you have to pick your battles. So, for instance, if you're out in the street and just say Antifa or loony bins attack, you take the beating. Don't hit them back, because if you take the beating and record that shit, you're making Veradkar look bad because they're his people. Do you know what I mean? You're exposing the far left for what it is. If you spark one of those fuckers out or you do something to them, they're not going to report that you got attacked first. They're going to report on you sparking one of them out. Do you know what I mean? That's the way they work. So, I said, everybody just take the beating. I actually wish that soap dodger had planted me one. I wish, well, not Solway was there with me. I wanted those fuckers to kick the fuck out of me. I would have sat there and just let them beat me. Sure, I'm not going to get shot. The cops up here carry standard issue Glocks. So I looked at the cop, wee woman, she's about 4'7". I'm thinking to myself, well, I mean, if she kicked me, that's not going to do much. There's riot police over there. They're going to beat the fuck out of me. Put me in hospital for 2 weeks, but I've got all the footage of them kicking the fuck out of me. That's Leo Varadkar's government ruined. That's him. Game, set, match. He knows that. But if I had laid a finger in one of those cunts, even if it was just a light finger, that would have been put all over the news. Far right attack on poor innocent civilians, counter protest, and the big bad far right protest in Dublin. That's how it works. It just shows you too, right, that the Irish people didn't listen to the propaganda, and they also didn't need to listen to anybody else to make their mind up. They realized a constitutional change to do with anything in regards to women was wrong. Do you know what I mean? Which was fantastic. Great conversation, Ronan. Great to hear people say what everyone else is thinking. Take care all. Have a good night, Susie. Mad respect to yourself. 100%. Brilliant saying, Saladin. I'm going to wrap it up, folks. But listen, fantastic. If you want to go follow me in the free speech platforms, the links are in the description. And yes, folks, listen, that's coming up to 2 hours. 2 hours on the button there. If I missed anybody's comments, I apologize. It wasn't intentional. Love that name, by the way, bipedal species. That's brilliant. Right, folks. Have a fantastic evening. Mad respect to everybody that went out and voted no today. You've won. This was a battle that was won. And as I said, you ripped the Irish sword from your back, the Irish sword of light. You took it out and you slayed the beast in a battle, but the boss is still to be beaten. So this is a battle won. Bask in the glory of today's victory, but know that there's going to be many battles in the future, and you have to win them too. So recharge tonight, have a drink, eat, drink, fucking have a laugh. But tomorrow morning, back into preparation, back into understanding, researching, and finding out where the next battle is going to be fought. And then win that battle, and then the end game, the boss, the election, voting in people that are actually going to run this country properly. And the battle was won today, but there's still a fight to happen. So mad respect to yourselves, love to every single one of yous, and even to the people who voted yes today. Let's be humble winners, and let's get the 36%. Let's get half of them over to our side. Peace out, people.